2 dead, including suspect, after a armed standoff at Hostess House in Newport, North Carolina. Folks, this event took place this past week, 10 minutes from where I now live. Let me give you what information I have been able to gather so far. The suspect had previously stayed at the motel, Hostess House. However, on this occasion, he was not a paying registered guest. In other words, he was trespassing, staying in a vacant room without permission. When the owner attempted to get him to leave, the suspect shot the owner, who succumbed sometime later at the hospital to the gunshot wound. The suspect then barricaded himself in the room. After a 3-hour standoff with law enforcement, the suspect took his own life with the same weapon he used to kill the hotel owner. Neighbor, this tragic event prompted a variety of different comments on Facebook. Some who knew the murdered owner said he was a good man who helped people. Others said, we are too quick to judge a homeless person without first knowing the facts. From what I could find out on the internet, it cost about $70 a night to stay at that establishment. $70, the price of 2 lives. Now, was the owner within his rights not to let the man stay for free? Yes, certainly he was. No business can survive without a cash flow. But what about the homeless man? The news said he was 59 years old, and let me tell you this, a 59-year-old American citizen is not entitled to any government assistance unless he can prove a medical disability, which sometimes, and I know this personally from people I'm close to, which sometimes can take months and even years. What about food? Let me quote this from the food stamp website, and I'm quoting, applicants must have a monthly income equal to or below the SNAP program limits. In other words, you got to have some job, some income to get the food stamps, unless you are a refugee, and that falls under a whole different category, and we won't go there today. Now, let's take hunger and add that to our coldest, windiest day of the year. Folks, what we have is a man who is at the bottom of life, at the bottom without any hope and seeing no way out. A professional gambler once told me, don't ever take all a man has, because a man without anything to lose is a dangerous individual, which in this case proved to be so. Friend, let me ask you this question, and you may be surprised at my answer. Is there any person on the planet who deserves to be hungry and without shelter? I'm including drug addicts, prostitutes, mentally ill, and so on. Let me give you my personal take on this. As Christians or decent human beings, we should help any non-violent people who are in need. However, barring a mental illness, we owe no allegiance to anyone who assaults another human being, self-defense excluded. When any person receives self-gratification by physically hurting another person, they are demonically possessed. In other words, they have a demon in them. Not only do we not owe these people any assistance, but we would be enabling them should we lend any. Neighbor, I don't know enough about the man who shot this hotel owner and then committing suicide, but seeing that he didn't have a violent criminal history, which that's what the sheriff said, I would most likely conclude he was mentally distraught, a victim of his own bad decisions, and a society that has become blind to the fact some middle-aged males may need help to pull out of a nosedive. Statistics from the Department of Human and Health Services fortify my observation by the fact that suicide among middle-aged males has skyrocketed. Folks, I know we are in the Christmas season, but for these two deceased men and their families and friends, there will be no Christmas. I beg of you today to pray for a system that is broken. Pray for our leaders to make homeless Americans a top priority. It is one of the best Christmas gifts we could give. This is Troy Wilson saying, until next week, may God bless you and yours so you can bless others.